All right, now that we know what scientific notation actually is, we may be asked to do math on numbers in scientific notation. So if you see right here in parentheses, I have one number in scientific notation times another number in scientific notation. And when we're doing these actually just follow the properties of exponents, which is why we're doing it at this point in the year. If you see this 4.7 and this 3.18, these are both just plain numbers with first powers. They're the coefficients right here. So I'm going to multiply this times this just like I would do in our regular properties of exponents problem. So if you do your 4.7 times your 3.18, you can see right here on my calculator I get 14.946. I'm going to go ahead and write that number down. So I get 14.946. I'm going to write the whole thing for right now. And then I'm going to do my exponents right here. I have a 10 and a 10. So the bases are the same. These are side by side being multiplied. So I'm going to add those exponents together. So it's going to be 10 to the 4 plus 7 is 11th power. So times 10 to the 11th power. So this is almost scientific notation for my answer, but I have two numbers after the decimal right now. I'm only supposed to have one. Also, if you look at the original problem, I only had one number after the decimal here. I had two numbers after the decimal here. Typically, the rule goes that you pay attention to whatever the least amount of digits you use is. I only used one number after the decimal here, so I can only have one number after the decimal in my final answer. So I'm going to have to do some rounding here. First off, I want the decimal to be right here. I'll leave the whole number for now. We'll round in a sec. So I move my decimal right here because I can only have one number after the decimal for true scientific notation. The thing is, I have to move my decimal 11 spots to the right from right here. I have to go 11 spots, so 1, 2, 3, and so on. So if I move to here, I'm actually going in the wrong direction. That means now I have to move my decimal 12 spots in order to accomplish the same thing. So I was going right 11 spots, but I went left. So now I have to go 12 spots. And the only thing is, like I said, I can only have one number in front of the decimal. So this is the same thing. This would get rounded to 1.5 times 10 to the 12th power. That would be how I would write my final answer. So if you see two numbers being multiplied, multiply the constants and do the addition property of exponents on the variables right here and adjust, get your answer. If that was a little confusing for you guys, you actually can type in the entire problem into your calculator completely like it looks. So I just typed in like first parenthesis times second parenthesis, and if you type it all in and hit enter, you'll notice that looks pretty familiar right here. Let me see if I can fit that on. That's the exact same thing we have right here with the E12. So it's very easy to check your answer and know that you did it right by hand. All right. For our second problem here, we're being asked to divide two numbers in scientific notation. When you divide, usually we reduce these numbers, but we're not going to reduce decimals here, so we're just going to type that in the calculator and see what we get. So I'm doing 2.91 divided by 7.04, and when you divide those out, it's going to be 0.4133 blah, blah, blah. I'll at least go, I know I'm only going to be able to have two numbers after the decimal anyway, so I'm going to go 0.41. I'll just write a couple digits for now. Like this is how it starts and it keeps going, but that's fine. I'm going to at least use that. And with the exponent on the 10, I have division right here, 10 to the 14th over 10 to the 20th, using the subtraction rule. We know there would be 10 to the 6th on the bottom left over, but you don't want to have a bottom or anything like that. We're just going to do subtraction rule. We're going to get 10 to the negative 6th. If you just do 14 minus 20, you get negative 6 right here. Because when you do scientific notation, you don't write fractions. You would leave a negative exponent. I have to rewrite this now so it's in scientific notation. I have 2 here and 2 here. So I'm allowed two numbers after the decimal. It's going to be 4.13 because I round, it doesn't go up. I adjusted my decimal right here. I was supposed to go 6 spots to the left from right there. And then I went the wrong direction. I went to the right. So now I have to go 7 spots to accomplish the same thing. So this would be my number in scientific notation. Again, if you type in the top in parentheses divided by the bottom in parentheses, it's going to tell you this. One last problem for this video. You can also have a scientific notation number raised to a power. When that happens, the number to the power, remember, you just give it the exponent. So it's going to be 5.461 to the third, which I'm going to give a few decimal spots here. It's going to be 162.8607. So I'll round it to 861. I'll do at least that much for now. Times 10, and when it's outside the parentheses like this, you multiply the exponent. So it's going to be 10 to the negative 21st. Almost done, but this is not one number in front of the decimal. So what I'm going to do is adjust it. It's going to be 1.6. I'm allowed 3 numbers after the decimal here. So it'd be 6 to, that'll round up to 9, times 10. I was supposed to go 21 spots to the left. Then I actually did go left 2 spots, which is the direction I wanted to go. I only have to go 19 more spots to the left. So that would be your final answer. With all these problems, it can be a little tricky figuring out which way to move the decimal. You can always just type it in the calculator, though, to check your answers.